Maybe YouTube's going to work this go around. Maybe. That's working. Maybe. It's time people gather up. What in the Sam hell California is up to? Because nothing they're doing out there makes a lick of damn sense. It don't. I mean, come on, guys. Think about it. What has California done out there that made any sense whatsoever as trying to further the state? I mean, can anybody name anything that they're legitimately doing to try to better the state out there? I mean, honestly, guys. I mean, I'm. Yeah, I got a new flag, Trump flag. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if my public figure page will get as many views as my personal page, the way it does, and where to know how bad they're censoring me and how bad they're not. You got to worry about that there on Facebook. Well, Jeff, do you see? Well, that's also a possibility. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't get off on conspiracy, but guys, the writing is on the wall. I mean, how much of this shit is California doing? Can you just palm off on pure ignorance? I mean, think about it. Now, somebody answer me that. Because you can't palm off all the stuff that they're doing out there just on pure ignorance. These people know better. But why are they doing it? Well, there's a couple different reasons comes to mind. Okay. Why would you pass laws where people can shit on the streets and people can just pitch tents out in the middle of the damn road pretty much, so forth? So why would you do such a thing to your state? Wouldn't you want to keep your state clean? Wouldn't you want to keep your state people want to come to the beaches? Now you got homeless people camping out on the damn beaches and so forth and so on. I mean, why would you do such a thing? Why would you raise taxes, fuel prices, so forth and so on? Why would you do that? Why would you not clean up your woods to where you could prevent major forest fires? I mean, think about it. Remember all the big fires they had about 2 years ago? Trump said, well, if they clean up their damn woods, we clean the woods up here. Why would you not do that? Why would you cut power to 800,000 people because you don't want to clean the woods up? And you're using that as an excuse to cut 800,000 people's power in the Bay Area. I mean, come on, guys. You see, and why would you let your state get flooded with illegals and then give them the ability to vote? And then pass bills to give adults free health care and illegal children free health care. Why would you do such a thing? Anybody answer that? Why would you take ham radios out of the equation when that's the last line of defense against any natural disaster? That's the biggie right there. That's the big red flag. Is taking emergency communication equipment off the top of those mountains that they got out there for civil servants and stuff to use because there's a catch to this, guys. All the upgraded communication systems that are run digitally is dog shit. Total, utter Dog shit. Trust me, I've dealt with it. Now, ham radio operators has the same digital capabilities a law enforcement does, but they have backup. They have contingencies. They have better equipment. Oh, far better equipment than what the emergency services does by the government. Yeah. Now, let me explain something to you guys. You got Motorola and several other companies that makes these what you call quote unquote business band radios for the business band. They're non-field programmable. You got like 16 channels pre-programmed, and that's it. Us ham radio operators has an infinite amount of channels and 5 to 6 different modes of communication on those particular frequencies. So if one don't work, we can go to the other and the other and the other. We are designed to keep communications operating through natural disasters or EMPs or nuclear warfare. That's why the federal government gave us the ability or gave us the permission to use these frequencies and to exercise them is because we're this nation's last line of defense in case of any of that shit happening. Most of your sheriff's offices and emergency services has scrapped their old analog systems and went completely digital. Digital is pretty much worthless in the capacity that they use it without a repeater. Okay, guys? Through law enforcement and emergency services is operating off repeaters and they ain't got very far range. They ain't got their analog systems up and running anymore. They were scrapped because they couldn't afford to keep both going. And without those repeaters, emergency services ain't got no range hardly whatsoever. And 450 megahertz in those mountainous areas, and that's what most law enforcement digital communications run, that into the 800 megahertz. The distance is shorter than it will talk. You can't talk for shit in mountains with 450 or plumb up in the 800 megahertz range without a damn use of a repeater. And you damn sure can't talk to anybody else because everybody else is running analog when your ass is running digital. And you since you've got pre-programmed radios that you can't change the mode of operation in, well, you're not going to get to talk to much of anybody that ain't got the same kind of radio you have. It means you can't communicate with the citizenry. It means you can't communicate with military. You can't do shit. Yeah. That's the big red flag for me, guys. It is. When you start telling volunteer people like ham radio operators, and a lot of them sheriff's departments use that ham radio equipment and stuff because it's a very valuable asset, especially during an emergency in that mountainous area. When the state of California tells you to get your repeaters out of our buildings and stuff on top of these mountains, that you're no longer viable anymore. That's telling me that they don't want people to communicate during an emergency. That's exactly what the hell that tells me. You see that right there? I'm capable of several different modes of operation with this. Law enforcement and emergency services is not because they got to go by FCC type accepted radio equipment, which is very expensive. And it's just a big kickback for Motorola and the rest of those companies that make business band radio equipment. It's a moneymaker. Now, you take in, for instance, state of California, and I know as well here in Arkansas, they got pretty much the same shit. But here in Arkansas, people's got a little bit of common sense. They still got their analog systems up and running because their digital is not dependable. And they know that. That's the reason they keep their analog systems still up and running. But California, no. A lot of these other states, no. Now, guys, let's think about it. What is California turning into? Is it not trying to turn into a socialist communist state? I believe it is. I mean, look at what we got going on around the country, guys. We got cities like Philadelphia raising the Chinese flag to celebrate diversity. Um, Guys, the writing is on the wall. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but the writing is. Y'all remember the movie Red Dawn, the remake of it? Is that trying to tell you something? Where did they invade at? Yeah. Where did the Chinese and the North Koreans invade at? I mean, think about it, guys. Why would you break a state down like the state of California has? Why would you do it? Why would you break it down and beat it into the ground? What's the purpose of it? Why would you do shit damn well knowing that it's going to tear the state apart, but you go ahead and do it anyway and you try to sell it off as a good thing? Why would you do it? You, each crime has always got a motive behind it. What's the motive behind this shit? We know China's not real happy with us right now. We see the NFL, or not the NFL, the NBA kissing their ass. We see these cities starting to fly communist Chinese flags. We know the communist Chinese has put money into a lot of these universities like UT Austin. And that's the reason you had Red Guard running around down there with the AK-47 trying to fight everybody. Just stood for the Constitution. So let's just look at what's going on in this country. Is what happening by chance or just pure ignorance? Or what's the motive behind it? I mean, what would you have to do, guys, in order to have a military invasion to get a foothold on the ground level? Well, it would be very beneficial if your state had a coastline of hundreds and hundreds of miles. It would be beneficial if the citizens were desolate and didn't believe in America. Yeah. And you've already converted a lot of citizens over to the socialist communist way of thinking. That way they won't fight back. What would you have to do to make all this possible? You'd have to financially break these cities, have everybody strung out on dope, make them dependent, to where they ain't got the ability to fight back even if they wanted to. Financially strap everybody that ain't homeless, to where they can't even afford to wiggle. Then take out emergency communications. to the rest of the country. Make it where people can't communicate when you cut the power. Now, guys, does it make any sense to cut power to 800,000 people in the Bay Area because the wind's blowing up there and it's dry in the mountains and they're afraid that a power line will fall down and make a spark, start a damn forest fire, and then take the communication equipment off the top of these mountains where a lot of your civil services and shit operate off of? Does that not look like a setup for a disaster of some sorts? Looks like a setup for a disaster to me. Why would you do such a thing? Ain't most states trying to improve this kind of shit to keep this kind of thing from happening? That they're all the time trying to better emergency services and better the citizenry out here from the loss of life and property and natural disasters? Yeah. So why is California so damn different? Isn't it PG&E's responsibility to fix those damn faulty ass power lines? Isn't it PG&E's responsibility? I believe it is. But no, we ain't gonna fix shit. We just gonna cut 800,000 people's power. Like I said, guys, there's a motive behind this. And I'm not saying that they're preparing California for a communist Chinese invasion, but the possibility is there. Think about it. The possibility is there. The number one thing you've got to do before an invasion force enters on the ground level is you got to take out communications. If there is no communications, people can't fight. Think about that. That's the number one thing our military does when we invade another country. That's the number one thing we do is take out their damn communication sites. We can't have opposition forces communicating with each other. That was the big red flag for me right there. Yeah, you still got. Oh, shut up, MMA watchdog. Why don't you go suck a pecker somewhere? Well, like I said, guys, that's what I'm saying. You've got to take out communication. And been in ham radio for 20 years. Now I'll just block your ass, dumbass. That's the way to do that. Like I said, I've been in communication for 20 years, been in emergency services for 20 plus years, so forth and so on. It's pretty much the writing on the wall. So, yeah. Oh, well, you can report me to FBI all you want to. They've already come and talked to me, so they watch my videos. So go ahead. Cowards block people. No, cowards call the FBI on people. Exactly what you're telling people to do. You're a coward, dude. You're running under a bogus name. Now get rid of his ass. But anyway, I do that because, like I said, this is my video here. I can take your ass out, put you in time out anytime I want to. But to get back to the moral of the story, you've got to disable all communications. You can't have people communicating with one another. You can't have citizens communicating with law enforcement, so forth and so on. You can't have it where law enforcement's communicating with military. You can't do it. And without the use of those repeaters, those damn digital radios ain't gonna be no good. They got like maybe a 3 mile tops range on them. I mean, like I said, guys, it ain't. I mean, common sense 101. Why would they be doing such stupid shit as that? I mean, it makes you wonder why they're doing it. Are they just that stupid? Or is there something else going on? It's hard for me to believe that they're that stupid. I think something else is going on. I think they're preparing for something. What that is, I don't exactly know. I mean, you can take it however you want it. You can. But they're preparing for something. They ain't preparing for a natural disaster that they're going to have people working together. No, they're trying to keep people from working together. You know, why would you cut power to 800,000 people over the threat of forest fires? Do you know what can happen when you cut power to 800,000 people? So there you go. How many people's already died? I know of one. How many people's already gonna die already died because of the cut of power out there? Not everybody can afford a damn gas generator. Not everybody can afford that over $5 a gallon gas in California to run the damn thing off of. Think about that too. Why wouldn't they just clean up their damn forests? Why wouldn't they do controlled burns? Why wouldn't they? If you really care about saving life and all this other shit, why wouldn't you? I mean, come on, guys, no brainer. Well, there you have it. That's why you wouldn't. No, they're just using the excuse those fires cut power to people is what they're doing. That's right, Paula. I agree. So, like I said, y'all draw your own conclusion to what's going on out there. Writing's pretty much on the wall. Yeah. Well, there was just a story here the other day that I read where a guy flew out to Missouri, rented him a car, I guess, and was driving down the road lighting little slithers of paper and throwing it out the window, starting fires, and he was going to get on a plane and fly back to Missouri, and they busted his ass. Why the hell would anybody come from Missouri to California just to start fires? I don't know. That's a mystery to me because that's what he was doing. He was lighting little slithers of paper, throwing them out the window. And they got the tag number of his damn rental car, and he went to turn it in. And get, at the airport, they busted his ass. So, yeah, I had to put these people over here on YouTube in timeout. Yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. Y'all have a good day. God bless, and we will catch y'all later. Got shit to do.